So move this way. And as I say, probably this way. And now see. Yeah.
how is it going today? Good? Good. And how was your Friday then? Also good? So-so? I see some so-so. Yeah, some of our things, yeah, is still on the way. Yeah, we will start in next. And for today, it's a competition. So it's based on natural in social. You already scanned the QR code and the rest of your questions or your concerns or share your stories or if you want to have a share a successful story. How how you experienced the strategy also prepare for and so for this introduce again, we have a QR code of return. It is a survey for our experience during the peak season and on the level of preparation for the next week. And so what we're thinking about your for for the about your business or like what kind of customer have to start the new business. Feel free to scan the QR code and fill in the survey, raise up your questions, and also your speakers will we will moderate an open discussion session, and everyone is open to share their experience. Also, if you have a successful Black Friday, feel free to share. And also, today our activity will be live streamed. Yes, as well. And
Yeah, so you have tasks like that. So I have my tasks like that. Now in the office we have still supposed to have.
hello, good afternoon. Officially again. So welcome to our e-commerce power up networking afternoon. The workshop is co-hosted by us, NextSmartShip, and also Trusted Shop. And also thanks for Spaces provide the cozy space for us. And also we are working with e-commerce news as our media partner to promote the activity. So for follow up all the e-commerce news and what kind of e-commerce activities is happening around Europe, feel free to follow all of us. We will share our insights consistently from our perspective about the e-commerce sector. First of all, I would like to do a quick survey. Beside this one, how many of you already have your workshop? Would you mind raise your? Have your web shop? Have your online shop? Or maybe e-commerce marketplaces. Okay, great. And how many of you are very ambitious to start up a new business right now? Hey, great. You as well. Okay, great. So today we will have insight session from our very experienced and very honored to have speakers. Today we will have 3 presentation sessions. One from Fasto, and he will talk about shipping from China, global supply chain management, and also the global shipping journey, how it's make the business process more efficient. The second presentation will come from Anthony from Trusted Shops. He will talk about user-generated content, trust marks, and also AI in consumer journey. The third presentation will hosted by Vahid. He will talk about sourcing from China and how the sourcing journey look like, and how you find the most beneficial and find the best price during the global supply chain and will influence your online business. At the end, after all the 3 presentations, we will have an open discuss session. That is a place that everyone is free to talk. And yeah, we are, because it's a networking activity, so everyone is feel free to share your experience or raise up your question or whatever you want to talk about. During that session, we will answer your questions that you just filled in from the survey. So if you still want to add up more ideas, feel free to scan the QR code and put in your ideas. Yeah, and we also have more friends from online. Hello, friends from online. Feel free to scan the QR code and raise up your questions. Okay, I'll jump. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah, after we talk about these questions, we will have one-on-one consultation sessions. So for the one-on-one consultation session, our 3 speakers will stay in different area of the room. Feel free to go to the topic that you are curious about, and yeah, feel free to go to their office hour. And yeah, for the workshop, we are planning to make it as a consistent journey. So it will be a consistent place and space that we can know each other and know other e-commerce practitioners' experience during peak season, during the new year, how you plan the new year, how you end up the old year, and share experience, getting help from each other, and evaluate our business to the next level again. So let's welcome our general manager, Sunny, for more ideas about the workshop series. Welcome.
Okay, thank you guys. First, I would say welcome you guys come to join our event. And as you can see, we are NextSmartShip, established in 2019. We are helping the e-commerce sellers on the global e-fulfillment solution part. And today is our first time host those kind of events in the Netherlands. And later on, we're gonna host activity monthly. And we will establish our online e-commerce community as well. So here with our partners, which we selected seriously, we hope we can grow up with your guys and build something really different. I know there are a lot of challenges during the whole e-commerce journey in different scenarios. So we're gonna try all our effort to make you success and help you to grow. Join our community and get your e-commerce network opportunity. Thank you guys and enjoy the wonderful afternoon. I will give to my host. Thank you.
So thank you, Sunny. Later we welcome Fasto for our first presentation. Fasto has more than 5 years experience in the e-commerce logistics section, and also very experienced about fulfillment and also the global shipping journey. He worked for different companies in different section of the fulfillment process, and also focus on the e-commerce with different platforms. So let's welcome. Sorry. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Love to Okay, which one is it on? Press? Okay. Yeah, firstly, thank you everybody for coming. Really appreciate you guys coming around. Yeah, we have basically a full-on conversation about fulfillment today. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to go back and forth. We'd love to make this as like relevant to everybody. I know everybody's here for different reasons. Some are for partnerships, others are e-commerce sellers, etc. So depending on where you guys are in your journey, we can always have a back and forth in terms of what your questions are, logistics-wise. So yeah, my name is Faustu. Previously been working in fulfillment for around over 2 years now, but before I've always been working in supply chain. I came to the Netherlands around 5 years ago. I started out as an order picker, and then I just worked my way up to where I am now as sales manager. Yeah, basically I've always been working in logistics my whole life. I started out at Picnic as order picker, then I moved to Signify, where I was also working in the warehouse doing like direct to consumer, lighting, etc. And then yeah, basically after that I transitioned into fulfillment for a British company. I actually have my ex-manager also in the crowd there. It's the first time I have my present and my old manager in the same room, so that's an interesting experience. And then yeah, basically I learned a ton in terms of working for this British company in terms of local fulfillment in the Netherlands as well as Europe. And then yeah, I've been approached by NextSmartShip within like 4 months ago, basically, and their proposition was entirely different to what I was doing before, because it was based in China, right? So as you guys know, around like 60 to 80% of consumer goods come from China. So this was like a big point. It all starts from China, whether we like it or not, right? So that's why I'm here to present to you guys just a new way of thinking in terms of like your logistics, especially like your webshop logistics, because I'm a big believer that you should have a hybrid solution in place in terms of like your fulfillment locally as well as like internationally. Yeah, so just addressing like 3 common e-commerce challenges that we basically run across. So there's 3 big things that I normally notice when it comes to like web shop orders. It's oversold inventory. So basically you forecast all the inventory that you need, you ship it from China, you get it locally, and then you reach a period where you have peak sales, let's say Black Friday or Cyber Monday, then all of a sudden all your inventory runs out and you don't know what to do. The other point is unsold inventory. So you forecast that you're going to sell this amount of inventory. When the time comes, you actually see that certain products didn't sell as well as they should have, right? And then there's cash flow. Basically, once you're importing the stock in bulk to Europe, you have to invest 2 to 3 months of expenses into inventory, and then you have your money basically tied into the inventory, which means you have to wait until you actually sell the products before you can actually reinvest any of the money, right? And then the third challenge is seasonal and trending products. So for instance, if you're experiencing, let's say, Christmas or Halloween or like a New Year's event, and perhaps you want to get your inventory sent out in time, but then you're experiencing an issue where your fulfillment center hasn't booked in the stock in time and they haven't shipped out to your customers. So by the time that the product actually things is that you send the stock directly to a fulfillment center in Europe, and then they just handle it to like the last mile carrier as you would in this instance. Yeah, so earlier I was speaking about the cash flow, how you can save money by not having to buy all the stock in bulk. So the answer to this is basically just buying stock in small batches. And this you can only achieve if you have like a 3PL within China, actually locally, right? This way it just ensures that your inventory levels are kept optimal, and it just gives you more financial resilience in terms of like having more money freed up that you can reinvest into your business, to hire virtual assistants, to like pay for ads, to buy more stock, whatever the case may be. It just gives you more flexibility when it comes to like your money. And then, yeah, I think the biggest misconception that people have when they're shipping from China is that it's going to take too long for me to get my products. So why would I ship from China, knowing that my products are going to arrive in 20 days? This was certainly the misconception that I also had when I started out working. I was like, wait, but how long is the stock going to get to the customers, right? Well, actually, it's faster than you'd actually think, because they have such an efficient supply chain over there that they have like hundreds of shipping lines, right? So you're basically giving your consumers as much choice as they want. It just depends how much they want to pay for the shipping. You have an economic line. That's the cheapest option. That gives you shipping within 8 to 12 business days. That's to Europe, as well as to like USA, Australia. And then you also have the expedited line. So that's like in the medium in terms of costs. That gives you like speed of around 5 to 8 business days. And then you have the express shipping line of DHL or FedEx or UPS. And that basically takes around 3 to 5 business days, right? As an average, if I would take like a product that's weighing 250 grams, if you're using the economic line, you'd pay somewhere around 5 to 6 months. So on the expedited line, it costs you around $8 to $9, right? And then on the express line, it costs you like around over $20. It's more rough figure. But what you have to take into account is that not all products weigh the same, right? Because you have products that are very bulky, and then you have products that are very small, and they can't weigh the same, right? So that's where you need to take into account the volumetric weight of your packages as well, right? So whichever is higher between the actual weight and the volumetric weight is always going to be the one that you're going to be charged for shipping. Yeah, and then obviously, in order for all of this to make sense, there has to be an efficient process in the inbound of things. Because everything can sound great, but if you send in stock and it doesn't get booked in within like a certain period, then you're pretty much screwed and there's no point of actually shipping from China itself, right? And that's why it's very efficient that you book in your stock as fast as possible, right? Welcome, guys. Welcome. No problem. Welcome. Have a seat, guys. Welcome. No. Welcome, guys. Hi. Hi. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah. Basically, I'm here to basically present to you a proposition of selling from China, and not necessarily that you should choose us or whatever is a partner. This is more just general information about what it's like to ship from China. But in our case, we do book in the stock within 48 hours. And this just ensures that you always have stock readily available for fulfillment, right? Now, in terms of dashboards, fulfillment dashboards, I think some of the things to look out for those of you who don't know what a dashboard is, it's basically where all your orders come in, where all your inventory gets synchronized. It's where you manage everything for your web shop, pretty much, right? Now, it's important to have like multi-platform integration, to have that flexibility to sell on different marketplaces, just so you guys have enough reach. So in our case, we integrate with Shopify, we integrate with WooCommerce, we integrate with Amazon. And this way, you're not limited to only one platform. You have as much reach as possible, right? We also have an open API, so you can basically connect to any platform as long as you guys have like some kind of like tech background or tech team with you. Now, in terms of the dashboard, we also have a freight estimator, and this just basically gives you full transparency when it comes to pricing. So basically, with a freight estimator, and if anybody would like to see it later on, I can show it to you. You basically put in the dimensions, the weights of the products, as well as the destinations, and gives you the exact price. So basically, when you're testing out new products, you can always see the price for yourself instead of like reaching out to your account manager, asking them what the quote is going to be for like selling new products. And then equally important is that you have to track the inventory across different fulfillment centers when you're splitting the stock in this hybrid solution, right? So it's very important that you can see the flow of inventory from your local fulfillment center as well as from like the one in the USA or the one in Australia. That way you always have like, you keep track of it. So when one updates, then it updates the whole shop, you know? And then, as well as like in this case for our dashboard, we have predefined shipping settings, just saving you time in terms of not having to select every order and release every order. You can just have predefined settings. If you only want to ship with expedited, then you can have the settings set out that way. or if you want to ship only express, then it's always like possibility in terms of like the shipping preferences. Then the next point is the three most important things, I'd like to call it, when I'm speaking to an e-commerce owner about what they say is the most important thing to their business, right? The three things that e-commerce store owners always say, at least always tell me, is that it's delivery times, it's price, and it's communication, right? Price and delivery times, I think that's like you're always going to find somebody cheaper, and delivery times are pretty standard. So what it all comes down to at the end of the day is communication, right? That determines how long you're going to stay with your fulfillment partner. And I think that's a big point in terms of like keeping you there in their business. So you should always ensure that you have like somebody that's going to be there for you. Even if you find like an account manager from a different fulfillment company promising you like low rates, but you're noticing he's taking 2 weeks to respond to your emails or 1 week to respond to your emails, then maybe you should go for the more expensive guy just because he's going to have your back in terms of communication and proactivity when things go wrong. Yeah, and just to that point, we actually have a 24/7 dedicated customer service team on business days, just to mitigate some of the risks in terms of communication. Now, branding. So as great, obviously, fulfillment partners are basically mainly responsible for shipping. But another point as well, you should have a partner that has basically different solutions for you. So like a one-stop shop logistics solution, right? You should look for a partner that can also help you with some of the branding elements, right? When it comes to customized packaging, when it comes to brochures, when it comes to marketing material, whatever the case may be, even if they can't do it themselves for you, you should have a partner in place that can source the right materials for you, so you don't have to go to different locations and spend time talking to multiple people. So always focus on making sure you get a partner that can help you with multiple things at the same time. Yeah, and this is just an example of some of like the packaging options that we have. So we have like a diverse range of eco-friendly packaging solutions. And this is a tour of the warehouse. You guys can get a feel for it. So important to note that the warehouse is 10,000 square meters with roughly 100 employees. So yeah, just to summarize, I think you should leverage like a global solution in terms of fulfillment. Look for a local warehouse partner as well as an international partner. And I think when you're looking at it, depending on where your supplier is coming from, if they're coming from China, if they're coming from the USA, always have a logistics partner that's close to your supplier. This just mitigates a lot of the risks in terms of like the supply chain, booking in stock, shipping out products as fast as possible. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'd love to welcome any questions that anybody has with regards to fulfillment or logistics. Yeah, thank you guys again for coming and thanks for your time. Yeah, I'd love to take any questions on board now.
Any questions?
Hello. Yeah, my question, what you referred to a few times to the hybrid solution, which I thought was very intrigued by, but it's from your presentation, it's not clear what you exactly mean by it and how NextSmartShip capabilities is supporting that. Can you clarify a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So basically what I mean by a hybrid solution is that you don't only rely on one fulfillment center, but multiple, like, or in this case, 2 fulfillment centers. So you basically have a base in terms of fulfillment from China itself, if you suppliers from there, and then another one locally, for instance, for Europe, in the Netherlands. So it's just not being dependent on only one fulfillment partner. So that's what I sort of meant with the hybrid solution, if that answers your question.
And what, when you have a system to manage that, or what is the essence of the your specific capabilities
Mhm.
to manage that in a good way?
Yeah, so in our instance, we work with a warehouse partner throughout Europe. So we have the warehouse in China as well as warehouses in the Europe, as well as the Netherlands, as well as America, as well as USA. So I'll just use a broad example. So say now you're selling cosmetics products. Not trying to judge because you're a woman or anything, just as an example, right? So if you're selling cosmetics products and you see that 80% of your orders are coming from Europe, so you can have 80% of your stock here, and let's say 20% of your orders are coming from America, then you can allocate 20% of your stock there, right? And then everything gets integrated in one place with the dashboard. So basically your inventory gets split based on locations, as well as you can also do mapping. So for instance, any customers that are ordering from America, the orders will only get fulfilled locally there. So you won't have an issue where like you're fulfilling twice for the same customer. Does that
Your system will help me to split the stock in the
Yeah,
best way.
yeah, exactly. So we can prep the stock and we can basically send the freight to different fulfillment centers depending on your needs.
In many cases in Europe, we're just very spoiled in terms of delivery times. It's very common that people want their packages here tomorrow. Or in North America, it's very different. It's very normal in the States to wait 3 to 4 days. And I think, as well, Faust mentioned, a hybrid solution will address that issue, because we know that if we are locally shipping from China globally, but to the States, we're using use of the local warehouse. That's when the hybrid solution kicks in. And through one dashboard, you'll be able to do that. So those are just only some of the benefits. Usually, we also see the supply chain is really affected in peak periods in China. So usually, what we'll then do is make sure we have enough stock in the ground, because prices sometimes do go a little bit higher in peak. But because we have stock in the different warehouses, we're okay, especially during peak. So therefore, you're not losing out on any sales.
Yeah, Delvin. You have to sort of elaborate what you mean with shipping being faster.
That's the one too. Oh. But now if a customer orders to me, it has to come from China. But with you, the warehouse is in Europe and my market is in Netherlands. You can ship it way faster. That's what you.
It depends on your requirements and what your delivery time goals.
Yeah.
So
like what he said, in Netherlands and in Belgium, it's very common to you order today, you get it tomorrow.
yeah, especially with bol.com. I mean,
Yes.
it's very like you need to ship out next day.
Yes.
So in this case, for these kind of instances, then it would be better to ship locally for next day delivery, and that's something we can also help with.
Okay.
It's only for like longer deliveries, for instance, worldwide shipping outside of markets that don't need this, then you basically would ship directly from China itself. Like for instance, the US or Australia, they're not so stringent on delivery times. But it just depends on like your goals as well and what's important to you at that stage of the business, like what you want. But you have flexibility. Like I mentioned, if you do want fast delivery times from China, you can do it. You just have to pay more for it, or your end customers will pay more for it eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for answering your question. Yeah, go ahead.
Eighteen percent of goods might be come from China, 20% of goods might be come from American. I'm interested in what type of ICT system you use to manage this.
We have like AIs. It's basically gives flexibility with any of the systems that you're using, right? So whether that's like a website that you build on WordPress, we have plug-and-play integrations. So we basically synchronize all your listings. So for instance, if you're selling 10 SKUs, they will synchronize all those listings, and it comes on the dashboard, right? And it has all the inventory. Whenever you sell any inventory or any order comes off any marketplace, then it basically synchronizes with your selling platform or your web shop. So yeah, as well as with the orders, the tracking information as well. Tracking information is super important because people need to know where their packages are, otherwise they'll lose their mind. So everything synchronizes via the dashboard and the tracking information gets fed. So it's basically you have everything, you're managing everything via one platform.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, form of business. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So I think that question.
So are you delivering the software and you manage the services because you have your agreements with carriers and you have a local warehouse that you don't own but you have relationship with, let's say? Or do you actually also ship with NextSmartShip? So like you have the DHL truck there, you would see the NextSmartShip truck and you have NextSmartShip warehouses all over the world. Because how I understand it is that you have one warehouse in Shenzhen where you collect products from China, and from there you push it into the networks wherever products need to go. So there's quite some handoff points, I would say, in the ownership of the product, either when it's going to Europe, then it's going to European hub, or in the Netherlands, or yeah, long question. But so is it software or is it more than that?
So yeah, it's more than just the software. It's also the relationships with the carriers, like you were mentioning. And you had like a spot-on assessment in terms of like the situation. So we have the warehouse in China. So the headquarters is in Shenzhen, and then we have the warehouse basically 70 kilometers from there. So we basically help the lot, which my colleague also covering this for same part, in terms of transportation of the goods from the supplier to a warehouse, organizing the freight, for instance, if you're doing Amazon FBA, and then consolidating the stock and then basically sending it to the local warehouses, right? So local warehouses all fall under one umbrella, which is our partner that we have. And we have our OMS systems integrated into these warehouses. And then based on that, we ship out products according to your orders. Yeah.
Last mile carriers. So, for example, in the Netherlands, PostNL, GLS, DHL in the UK, Hermes, Royal Mail. So in every country, we work Dutch Post in Germany. But it's important to work on the ground with last mile carriers. And in this case, we work with all the top carriers in all the regions. And of course, yeah, in terms of NextSmartShip shipping line, we're not quite there yet, but for sure, an idea for something for the future. Yeah. Sorry, so you had a question. Go ahead.
The user-friendly dashboards. Yeah, we just basically call it an OMS. So it's like an OMS. Yeah. So via the open API, you'd connect to the ERP, which would connect to like all the marketplaces. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So usually when we're talking to clients, we can give them dashboard templates. So we give them a step-by-step walkthrough of the system. But we also have dedicated onboarding specialists. So then they'll basically help you with like integrating your web shop, telling you how you can schedule delivery to the warehouse, etc. But when it comes to like the open AI, I think like the most important thing is like 3 endpoints. It's the tracking, it's the inventory, as well as order synchronization. Those are like the basic endpoints that you need to have in place if you don't have like plug and play integration to the system. But yeah, we're more than welcome to like book a meeting, and we can always like walk you through the dashboard. Great. Yeah. Oh, it's actually hosted like okay, the servers and everything. No, that's from Shenzhen. Great. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, thanks. Great picture.
So for this service system you mentioned, it's across the nation system. So you also can use it in the Netherlands and can use it in Shenzhen. Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so the OMS is like integrated throughout all the networks in every country, basically. Yeah. Any other questions? So maybe something from the back, guys. Awfully quiet. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Vaso. You can so later on, let's welcome Anthony from Trusted Shops. And Trusted Shop is one of the most trusted mark that I have ever known in Europe. And they have locations all over Europe and also in UK, working for customer review and also AI and trusted mark. Yeah, let's welcome Anthony.
Thanks for the introduction. So as Claire said, I work with Trusted Shops. We work with e-commerce shops. So customers look at the journey from warehouse to yours or your customers on consumers essentially. What we do is we help with making you as a e-commerce shop stand out, giving consumers a reason to come to your shop, a reason to buy from your shop, because it's one thing to get people to come to you, it's another thing to actually get them to buy from you. That's what we do, and in line with that, we'll be looking at the power trio. So UGC, user generated content, cross-max, and AI. Now we'll be looking at how these three things form a synergy to help revolutionize the consumer journey and how you can actually make the best use of that. To help me with the introduction, I have this. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's try that again. UGC, hash marks, and artificial intelligence. Pointers as we explore these elements to redefine online experience, influence purchasing decisions, and shape the future of digital commerce. Welcome to the trio of UGC. Thank you. Now, this might seem a bit too much, but the fact is, AI is here and it's here to stay, whether we like it or not. So the best thing is how we then merge it into what we already have, because it is possible to actually integrate it into your existing ecosystem, your existing e-commerce shops. So we're going to be looking at that. But first, we'll start with the overview. So we'll be looking at the overview of user-generated content. One, we'll be looking at the importance of cross-max. Yeah. We'll also be looking at the role of AI, how it fits into all this. We'll also look at how all three form that synergy to help you stand out, help you become a business that's worth looking at. Yeah. So we'll start with UGC, user-generated content. Obviously, we all know what this is. It's since the turn of the millennium, let's use that phrase. So from the early 2000s, user-generated content, it has evolved greatly, going from blogs to reviews, text reviews, then becoming pictorial, visual UGC. Yeah, which is where influencer marketing comes into play. Or originally, it started as text. Yeah. Now we'll be focusing, for the purpose of this presentation, we'll be focusing on the text, the reviews aspect of it. So user-generated content, as I said, started early 2000. And right now, it plays a key role, not just for shops, but also for influencers. Because yes, as a shop for you, it helps you with visibility across search engine result pages. So we're talking about the Googles, we're talking about the Yahoo, we're talking about things. Yeah. But also now it's gone to such a place that it's gone, if I may use that phrase, stratospheric, because you have influencers who are actually earning from it as well. So it's not just you as a shop owner who earns from it, but people see it as a source of income. And we've been looking at the period 2020, where, as you can see from the graph, I don't know if you can see the graph clearly. Yeah, so we'll be looking at 2020 here. It was valued at 770 million, approximately. Yeah, and just a year later, shot up to 944 million, 0.9 US dollars. As that's 2022, it had moved up to 4.4 billion. So if you look at it, user-generated content reviews, why is it that, valuable, so to say? So this just gives you an idea of, okay, if it's that valuable for people, why shouldn't it work for me? Yeah, as a shop owner, you have your business, you want your business to be seen, you want to be visible out. But not only that, and if you consider the fact also, sorry, I deviate real quick. If we consider the fact also that the arena is changing so much, just yesterday I was telling Wahid earlier, heard that Google have changed the way they source for content from shops. Yeah, before now it used to be about content, but now it's going to be about context. Yeah, so if one looks at all this and considers all this, it becomes important to be able to say, okay, the trend is changing. How do I go about it? What do I do to get along and not get left behind? Yeah. Now, that brings us to the next topic, which basically is harnessing the power of UGC. How do you harness UGC? How do you harness user-generated content? Obviously, you want customers to find you, as I mentioned earlier. You want customers to be able to see you across search engine result pages, but also you want the reviews to work for you. For that to happen, you first need to be able to get these reviews, right? So how do you go about getting reviews? How do you encourage people to leave reviews? So first, you create an engaging shopping experience for your customers. Give them a reason to come to your shop. Give them a reason to want to engage with you, because two reasons customers leave reviews. One, they had a wonderful experience on your shop and they can't wait to go on top of the mountain and shout it out. Or two, they had a bad experience and they want everybody to avoid their shop. These are the two main reasons customers leave reviews. So you as a shop owner, obviously, I would hope so, would, pander more to having positive reviews against negative reviews. So to be able to do that, you need to give customers that reason to want to leave a review, which means probably the consumer journey. How user-friendly is your shop? They feel like they're about to take an exam for them to be able to buy from you? Or is the journey so easy for them? They can go from page to page, products to products, without actually racking or having to dig so deep in their mind to do that. Yeah. Then the second point, you encourage reviews. So after each transaction, how do you reach your customers? Do you wait for them to find you to leave a review? Do you proactively reach out to them, asking them to review their experience in your shop? Because doing so, not only do you influence, increase your visibility across search engine result pages, you're also letting them know for you, it's not just about the sale, but you care about them. And you can use that feedback towards your own marketing campaign, what you need to correct, what you need to put in place. It's basically like taking a poll, essentially, is what it is. Yeah. Then third, utilize social media. The world right now, for my parents, it's all gone crazy. I don't know what to tell them all the time. But I said, but the world right now, social media, it's there. Let's use that phrase. It's now, these days, you'd find people looking for products on TikTok. You find people looking for products on Instagram. Yeah, that's where they look for products because I mean, you have, for example, you have things like TikTok manipulate. So if everybody is doing it, guess what? You should be doing it too. So how do you then harness that? How do you turn social media to help your business visible there, the same? And not only that, not only by pushing your products there, but also these reviews you collect, the user-generated content, it also helps there. So you collect a good review, proud, show it, push it to your social media channels. This helps too. And regarding UGC, obviously you want reviews, you're getting reviews. Take that extra pain, go the extra mile. Acknowledge these reviews because consumers at the end of the day want some sort of affiliation with you. Yeah, and if you're able to build that affiliation, guess what? That leads to customer loyalty. That leads to repeat customers who will come back to buy from you. Customers who fight your cause when somebody talks bad about your business because they feel they have some sort of relationship with you. So this encourages and helps build things like that. It fosters trust ultimately. Now, as I said, with reviews, you're able to improve visibility across search engine result pages. You're able to rank high. You're able to bring traffic to your site. But it is just one part of the journey. Getting customers to find you, yes, great. Getting them to come to your shop, wonderful. But converting them, how do you get them to buy from you? And that is where trust comes in. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if we look at current landscape of e-commerce right now, it has changed greatly. So if we look pre-COVID, yes, it was a bit of touch and go. But since the inception of COVID, which changed the whole way people buy, the whole way people interact, it has become ever more important to be able to give credibility to your brand and your shop. And the way you can do that is the trust marks. Yeah. So let's take Germany, for instance. I keep saying Germany. I'm sure you was wondering. I'm from Germany, that's why. So don't be shocked. If you look at the e-commerce arena in Germany, currently, since the advent of COVID, there have been over 1 million fake shops. That's a big number. There's no way you look at it. So you as a consumer, obviously you want to buy from a shop, you want to have that online experience. First, you have to scrutinize. So you want to read reviews to get the experience, an idea of what people who've had interactions with this shop and that's what they had to say about those shops. Yeah. So you say, okay, well, lots of reviews, positive reviews, occasional negative reviews, which show, okay, well, genuine business because they're showing it. But you also want that assurance that the shop you're buying from, one, applies the regulations for the local market, the EU, because ultimately these are the things that would let you know if something goes wrong with your transaction, you have a legal standing for that. So trust marks come into play. And you have different trust marks. You have GeoTrust, which HackerSafe. These are trust marks that have to do with security of the web shop. Yeah. So you're sure, okay, my data is safe and get easily hacked, though still happens. We know that. Or, you know, it just gives you some sort of idea that, okay, this shop is putting measures in place to do these things. So that helps. And also you want to be able to confirm that aside from your data privacy, the shop you're buying from is actually a real shop. So it's not just you throwing your money out there because you might be rich, but still you want value for whatever it is you're giving, right? So that's where that comes into play. Trust marks obviously help with legal compliance. They help with giving sort of identity to the shops you're buying from. And it's been found that consumers tend to trust shops display some sort of trust mark over shops that don't have it. And that has influenced over 60% of consumers across all sphere. This is according to Bernard Institute. You can look it up. And then also, trust marks help increase conversion by at least 10%. The numbers can be higher because ultimately, aside the fact that what you're selling, you have a trust mark, there are other factors that also come into play to help determine what and how consumers interact with your shop, right? From there, we go to the next slide, talking about AI. As I mentioned earlier, the AI, the technology is such that you can't help overlook it, especially with the current, with the way the world is now. It's a global village, yeah? And AI, we all know it's changed the way consumers interact because from fact that it helps with increasing response speed, it helps with making available chat bots for conversations. Consumers want things like that. Yeah, they have questions, they want somebody to respond to them ASAP. They buy from your shop, they want to be able to get assurance that, okay, they will get it the next day. Or they have questions about specific products. They want answers and they want it at the finger of their teeth. Yeah. And that's where AI comes into play. It's revolutionized how shops are able to interact with their customers. Yeah. Now we're looking at this here is again, the way consumers interact with shop. It's such that you have consumers who want to buy a product without buying a product. Basically, they want to know what that product is before they pay for that product. So they want to be able to test those products, which is what has led to a lot of returns in the past where people buy different products, test out one or two, and return the others. But with AI, you can actually you can take that away from that journey for them, because now you have shops who make it possible through either virtual reality or augmented reality to be able to check your products before you buy them. Yeah. Take for instance Ray-Ban. You can go on Ray-Ban, pick the glasses you want, try it on online, see what it looks like on you. You look good, you don't buy. Yeah. So these are all part of the technology and part of the benefits of having AI on your shop. Yeah. Now, how do the three features of user-generated content, trust marks, and AI, how do you then bring the synergy into play? Simple. Create your shop, have these three elements, ensure that consumers are able to review you. Your reviews impact your ranking across the search engine result pages. Trustmark helps with increasing conversion to your shop, as I mentioned earlier. And it also helps you as a shop with legal compliance with your target markets, your focus markets, the consumers you want to buy from you. But the AI makes that journey for them a lot easier. It makes it smoother. It makes what would ideally take longer a shorter experience for them, ultimately. Yep. And that then leads to the future landscape of the e-commerce sphere. And here we have things like emerging technology and consumer expectations. As I mentioned, consumers they have their expectations. They want a situation where they buy from you now, they can get their products the next day, or they don't have to order so much and take out the stress of having to go to their local posts to return the items they bought from you. So that's where augmented reality comes into play, or virtual reality. Yeah. And somebody that has been doing so well with this is IKEA. With their IKEA Place app, you can actually have your room, your apartment, or wherever it is you want, pick products you want, the furniture you want, and try to find how it fits into your space. Yeah. So
there and then you can make your decision without actually buying that product, or at the end of the day, you only then buy the products you need. Okay. We're looking at delivery. Foster mentioned earlier when customers want the products they buy the next day. Yeah. It's already happening in marketplaces like Germany, where they have the drones. Also in Dubai, it's also happening. You buy your products, drones delivered to you same day, most the next day. Yeah. Now, if you have retailers who are making this available, tell me why consumers will want to buy from them. If I have an emergency, maybe I have a party tomorrow and it's outgrown my old suits, I can buy one, get it delivered the next day, or just in time for me to go for what I want to go to. So if they're doing it, and the option exists for them to consumers to be able to buy from them, they would obviously buy from them. So you also need to get with the program, so to say. Then AI also helps with chatbots, which makes it easier for consumers to get answers or queries answered like that at the speed of light when they come to your shop or when they come to your online business. Now, I like to say or look at these three features as the three musketeers. User generated content, trust marks, AI. And if you're able to maximize all three features, the world is yours to conquer. Just the reality. And on that note, I'll welcome questions.
Questions? Okay.
First, Lenny.
Just to clarify what you mean by UGC, because I will categorize it in three categories. Coming from the actual customers, I'm thinking about content creators that you actually, you're gonna give one of your products for them to make a video, you're gonna pay a small amount. And then you have the influencers, which are actually like people with large followers that you want to pay them to show your product to these people. So which category you're referring to when you say UGC?
Well, I did mention for the purpose of this presentation, we're looking at reviews. Yeah. Now, reviews are not the reviews you pay content creators to write for you or influencers to showcase your product on their platform. This is actually feedback from consumers who buy from you. Yeah. Because ultimately, you would find that consumers tend to trust. Well, let's try something here. At some point, we've all made purchases online, right? How many of us look at reviews before we buy? Myself inclusive. Because I want to know what the experience of people like me who've dealt with that business, what their experience was like. Yeah. So that's why we're looking at reviews. Now, having said that, you did mention influencer marketers. Yeah, they're also there. I mean, let's face these days, reviews is evolved, begging your pardon, not just from textual texts, but you have pictures, you have videos, which is where influencers come into play a lot. But you also have as feedback from consumers, because now it is possible to actually take pictures of the products you attach to the reviews you've given to about a company. Yeah. But the danger with that is to lead, and that's one of the reasons it's very murky water, because there are regulations around GDPR. Spannexing prevents that, and it also permits it, so it's very gray area. Because I could take a picture of a product now, yeah, and while I do that, I capture maybe product is on the table. I take a picture of it. I get a picture of this young man, sorry, and then I post that picture up. he sees the picture. I didn't get his permission to post that picture. So he could sue the company that has the platform. So based on that, the law allows it, but at the same time, it doesn't allow it. So it's very gray. It's a gray area, but ultimately it is user-generated content. When we say user-generated content in this text, I mean feedback from consumers who have dealings with that.
What recommendation would you give to give an incentive for people, customers to give?
Yes, it is possible, but you see the danger with that. If we look at the big bad wolf in this case, talking about Google, because we can hit, they're the biggest in their sphere. Yeah, they frown against you incentivizing customers to leave a review because they believe that incentive influences the quality of the review. I mean, if I'm telling you, review me, I'll give you 100 euros. You won't give me a bad review, would you? Because you want me to give you the money for that review. So they frown at it. So you have people who do it. If it's discovered by Google, yeah, then it could lead to issues. Yeah.
Thanks.
There is not allowed customers to give rights.
Review. Yeah. Well, it is. You're not allowed to, but it depends. It depends on the circumstances. Yeah, in the sense that, okay, for example, and this we allow this trusted shops. So if customer leaves you a bad review, it is possible to get into customer, find out what the issue was. If you're able to resolve that issue to that customer without, obviously, it's not going to be known. You're not going to publish. Please rewrite your review. But if you're able to resolve that issue for that customer, it is possible for them to edit the review. And I say this because I've had conversations with consumers who maybe purchased from any of our clients who've reached out to us to tell us, okay, my issue's been resolved. I'd like to please edit my review. So it is possible. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. So coming from a startup, I would like to ask for user-generated content.
Yeah.
On which platform would you put your focus on first? Would you put it on Instagram first or TikTok?
Well, it's always best to have it on your own platform. Yeah, because ultimately it is that makes you visible. Yeah. The mediums you mentioned just now, yes, they're equally important. But if you just put your brand on any of these two platforms, your brand is not known yet. So obviously you have to work with an influencer. Yeah. And the danger with that, it is something that is very viable, but it also has its own underlying dangers. Yeah. Perfect case would be the case of Cristiano Ronaldo. Have we all heard about Cristiano Ronaldo being sued because he promoted Binance, sorry. Yeah. Now he's being sued because guess what? He promoted platform. Now the platform is going through the issues they're going through, and a lot of people are themselves together. There's a civil lawsuit against platform and against him because people are saying he influenced them to invest in that platform. So these are the underlying dangers. In as much as it has its pros, it also has its cons. So, but what you're looking to do is get people to your own. You're trying to build your brand. So at search, you should be getting traffic to you. You should be focusing on getting your business to be visible across search engine result pages. All right, thank you. Someone back has a question.
Right. So, is it allowed to ask or email customers to write a review in exchange for like a discount?
That's also incentivizing them. So it's, again, people do it, but it's something that could blow back on you.
Sorry, so you can not really
People
smart.
do it, but it's not permitted.
Not sorry. Repeat it. Oh, permitted.
They do it, but it's not permitted.
Okay, yes. Okay.
So it is not allowed, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. The likes of Google, GDPR also frowns at it. So, because the danger with that is it could lead to fines. Yeah. I mean, take for instance a part of the GDPR regulation where they talk about reviews being transaction based, meaning reviews should come from actual transactions. So you have the Omnibus Directive, which went into effect just last May. Yeah. Now, part of that component is the one to ensure that reviews based on legitimate transactions and legitimate experiences. Yeah. So for that reason, they could come, for instance, they could come to your shop and tell you, provide us reviews, all the reviews you have from the month of November, show us proof of those reviews. That transactions actually occurred for you to get those reviews. If you're not able to, the fine could run one out of business. So these are the things one needs to consider when, in as much as it is important to have to get user-generated content. It is important to have trustworthiness. You also want to be able to comply with the laws and regulations. You also want to be able to prove, because aside the fact that you're probably avoiding fines and fees and whatever, it's also helping your brand, the authenticity of your brand. It also helps with that.
Customers asking for fake customers to leave a review, or asking real customers to leave a review in exchange for like discount.
I mean, it obviously has to be real customers, because if it's fake customers, then you can't prove.
But is it allowed with real customers also now?
No, you're not allowed. You're not expected to give incentive for reviews. But there are ways around it. Let's be honest. People find ways around it. So, for instance, we have a few merchants who will tell their customers, for your next transaction, you get, I don't know, 5-10% discount. Yeah. Now, if I'm a customer, I bought from you now, and you've given me that possibility, it's a psychological thing essentially. You've given me that possibility to get a discount on my next transaction with you. If you send me an invite to leave my review again, which is where comes into play the fact that you need to make the experience for the consumers a memorable one. Yeah. If I've had a good experience on your shop, if you send me an invite, I'll be happy to leave the review. One thing we also have to consider is the platform you're using to get those reviews, or process of getting those reviews. Because if you're sending a review invite to a consumer, yeah, let's face it, our attention span, not really necessary, is less than 5 seconds. Yeah. So you send me a review invite, asking me to review my experience in your shop. Yes, given it was a lovely, memorable experience, I'm happy to do so. But then I'm about to leave the review and it feels like I'm about to write a test or an exam. I'll abandon that whole concept. So it needs to be something that is easy for the consumers to be able to actually do as well. So you have to provide the enabling environment for them to do it.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yep. Any other question? Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you, Anthony, for very insightful sharing. So we now have ideas about marketing, about trust mark, and also user-generated content. Also, we have some idea about shipping. So how everything starts from. Let's welcome Mahit for his presentation about panel. Stage 6.
Terrible thing. I'm not good at selling. I'm good at next. Always with this like to get like my nose down. Yeah, we're talking about supply chain. So this is actually this is the part that really gets me excited. This is probably the most difficult part to get through. Yeah. So about me, I'm Lead. You can see. Yeah, pretty much extensive experience in supply chain. It's the most details in Europe. Big companies, so I really understand how they handle their supply chain and sourcing, of course, which has put me in a great position to help e-commerce brands find the best products as possible. And of course, with the shipping component and my experience in logistics, I make sure that we get it at the most competitive price to their clients through our last mile in China as well. So of course, this is obviously the last few common questions. I was Friday excited Monday really smart of the year for those students. And my last confirmation control call to clients. Solutions and questions and source which we're using. Can anyone just give me a couple of names that you're familiar with? Alibaba. Sourcing from China. AliExpress. Yeah. Ding dong. Yeah, now I'll be able to give you some more. Obviously, my question to all my clients is always the same. Are you satisfied with the purchasing price? And yeah, how far did it in advance to order the inventory? These are all key questions and something that we regularly ask our clients. Yeah, sourcing from China. Yeah, why China? 60% of D2C brands from China. Different reasons. Cost efficiency. So China offers cost-effective manufacturing production capability. They have a much lower labor costs and a really efficient manufacturing process. They've been doing it for years. The expertise, well established. They've got very good infrastructure. But also in factories, a lot of that money is invested in new equipment to ensure that the clients that they work with can easily scale. Supply chain efficiency. China's supply chain ecosystem is highly developed compared to many other different countries. They have a very extensive network. They have access to a lot of raw materials, components, and supplies, close proximity. So obviously, this can help them streamline the production process to a lot of various products. This is probably one of my favorites: customization and flexibility. They're extremely flexible. There are factories that do mass production that are a little bit more stringent, but you also have now smaller factories that are doing lower MOQs and a lot more flexibility. Whatever products that you want to have designed, there's just really an extensive network. Technology innovation. China is obviously continuously investing in technology, and this allows them to, in my opinion, always be one step ahead. And if you think about it, 70% of the global production in the world of D2C brands in China is really huge. It's really huge. This is something they are really good at. So sourcing, why is the sourcing strategy important? So obviously, we all have an idea of a product we want to sell, something we want to develop. There's probably Kickstarter campaigns, crowdfunding campaigns, Kickstarter, Indiegogo. So you can develop a product. But we all have kinds of ideas. I want to start selling a cup. I want to start selling a certain type of hoodie. It always really starts with really key important factors for all my clients. Supply chain efficiency, this is really important. So we'll tie back into this in a minute. Cost management. I want to make sure that I maintain a healthy margin, anything between 20 to 30%. Otherwise, I'm not getting out of bed. So this is really a really key component. And quality control. Things are mass produced in China. How do we guarantee the quality control? The Chinese also produce different products for different markets. in Africa, the markets, the products are not as properly produced as Europe, because the spending power in Africa is a little bit different. So of course, to the different markets, this is something that's really, really, really important. Yeah, obviously supply chain. So this really is a seamless coordination between the suppliers, your manufacturers, your distributors, your retailers, the fulfillment company where it's going to come. There really has to be a smooth transition of how you're going to get your product at a fantastic unit price to your client in Amsterdam. How do we do that? How do we make that whole supply chain as efficient as possible? The cost management part is really important. Obviously, efficiently managing supplier relationships, negotiate favorable terms, and diversifying sourcing locations contribute to cost savings, and obviously mitigate the supply chain risk, which I'll come to further down the slides. Quality control, really a key one for me, especially when I'm talking to my clients. Establishing stringent criteria for supplier selection, conducting regular audits, collaborating with suppliers to improve high quality products, to prevent defects, and maintain really, really high standards. Yeah, this is very important. I'm talking about relationships. I really believe in the value of relationships, and this is probably in the ecosystem of e-commerce. This is actually really one of the most important ones, because it's your supplier. This is where your products come from, and where you really need to have a good relationship. Why? Reliability and consistency. A good relationship encourages them to be consistent in what they promise to deliver. That's one thing. Promising to deliver and delivering are two very different things. I've come to discover having a good relationship really manages that situation. Favorable terms and conditions. When you have a strong relationship with a supplier, always helps with the price. They seem to be more flexible, and obviously in terms of arrangements, they are a lot more flexible in terms of the payment terms. How much we have to pay upfront is 70% on production. The rest of the 30% when it's delivered. There's a lot more that goes into it. Problem resolution and flexibility. Yeah, we're going to experience problems at some stage. How do we manage that with our suppliers in case of issues and unforeseen circumstances? Having a strong relationship really allows open communication and flexibility in finding solutions. This is something I really talk to. That's really a big thing for me: flexibility in finding solutions. And anything can change. You might need to adjust the delivery schedule. You might need to change things. So you really need that point in that relationship, flexibility from both sides. Access to innovation. A close relationship really helps in the collaboration of ideas. I particularly work with a client that was selling pillows. Actually, quite a really big brand in the Netherlands. Perhaps some of you have already known, perhaps heard of them, Flower Pillow. And obviously, they are also known for the innovation in products. But this is also usually Jens, the operator, has shared that many times with me. It's because of their close collaboration with the factory. They are really, really open to sharing ideas, testing new products, and that's ultimately contributed to the success of the brand. You get VIP treatments. It's not just the same; it's mutual. So with a strong relationship during high demand periods or supplier shortages, suppliers are always likely to prioritize reliable and respectful partners over others. So I think that's really important. And reducing risk is always important. In the stage of supply chain, how do we mitigate the risk? So having a good relationship also gives you more sense of security and reducing the likelihood of disruptions, such as sudden price hikes. This really happens a lot with different factories. Of course, communicating that is always better. So the different kind of tools. Coming to where we play a pivotal role in helping you. Something that we understand China. Coming back to my question earlier, Alibaba, the big one. The other side, 1688, Taobao. You have global products and China. A lot of companies do a lot of business, probably Alibaba being the huge one. But we know, obviously, because we are a Chinese company, we have feet on the ground in China. We know that these companies ask considerably more for their products, even though many companies think they're getting it at a good price. And in China, all these platforms know that this is catered for European markets or for North America, so it's considerably much higher. Where we tie into it is we have proven to offer 25 to 30% less for products, purely because we have an extensive relationship with the network in China. Therefore, there's a lot of costs that we can avoid, and therefore being ultimately competitive. And like I said, it's only because we're a Chinese company, only because we've broken on the communication barrier. I understand how my colleagues do business in China, the way things are done in China. Because we're a Chinese company, we always seem to be one step ahead. Of course, this is where most products are for many e-commerce sites sourced from. Yeah, the process is simple. So when I talk to my clients, we assess their needs, thorough analysis of the products that they're looking to develop. Obviously, product specifications are really important in China. They are really precise, and everything they do is in extreme detail. So as much information as we can gather as possible. And we don't just take one quote. We don't do fine. Make sure that we test our ability, find something best possible price. So we always talk to different factories and really ensure that we are possibly getting the best price, but again, not compromising on quality as well. Provide immediate and estimate pricing leveraging. Yeah, we really do know what things cost, especially when you've been in the game for longer. We know that an average candle, an LED candle, is being produced for an MOQ of 100 pieces at $7. So when we start getting quotes that are coming in from different companies at 12, we know that this is not the market rates, and that's purely because of our experience in the field. We really test our ability to make sure that we're getting a good price, and obviously our experience plays really a crucial role in this. Production oversight, so we oversee the production of everything. We actively really manage the whole process. So in terms of negotiating, doing a discovery call, assessing your needs and the things that you need. How do we implement the production, and how do we oversee it? This is really, really important. Where I essentially boots on the ground in China. And this is the big one. Quality control. This is actually I'm really stressing the process. It's really important for signing into a little bit what we do is actually with NextSmartShip, we also have an inspection team. So we ensure a typical case scenario would be a client that's shipping candles. It's been received to our warehouse. We've received a batch of 100 pieces. He paid for 100 pieces. 10 of them have been damaged. We need to ensure that 100 pieces are sellable. And anything that's not, we need to be able to communicate this back to him. Any products that are faulty, we need to verify that. What's the problem? Is there a problem in production? We need to rectify some of those issues. This is also really important that we work with reliable factories. I think there's been a big upsurge of factories that don't have any licensing. There's a wonderful documentary on Netflix about the amount of makeup that's being imported into the USA that is not makeup. Unfortunately, some women have put lipstick on them. Turns out they're putting some kind of rubber, and their lips have fallen up. It's really a big thing now in America, and they're getting a lot stringent on these kind of things. But it's really important to stress that we work with factories that have a verification process, certification, to ensure that any liability is with them, and we have to make sure that we can ensure the safety of the clients and their products and the business that they ultimately do with this. End-to-end shipping, this is where we really offer one solution. We have an extensive network, and this is exactly what we're good at doing. We're able to source a product. We want to be able to go and collect it for you. We want to be able to store it. We want to be able to ship it. Clients that say, Wahid, I'm interested in using a European solution because most of my clients are Europe. That we can do as well. So really, I see really at one-stop shop. You're not dealing with different suppliers. You're not dealing with different freight companies. You're not then coming and dealing with info cost. for the different products that you're importing. And if you're using a current 3PL, there's already 5 players you have to deal with. So we really believe a one-stop solution is just much easier for clients. We've built strong relationships through the one-stop solution, and I think this is really, really important and impressive. Yeah, that's pretty much a map of China. It's really humongous. These are the different regions, different clusters, and this is predominantly in the different regions. These are all products that they manufacture. Our head office is in Shenzhen. Our warehouse is in Guangzhou. Shenzhen is tech and gadget city. They're quite known for this. But this just really strengthens. We know exactly where we need to go to for what. And I think this is really, really impressive that my team's been able to provide this really extensive information, which I'm extremely grateful for. But it just highlights our abilities that we really have through this network access to over 5,000 factories. Yeah, what's our value? That's a good question, and that's a question I asked to people who are trying to sell me something. What is your value? As I mentioned, probably the most important one, quality control. This is really where it goes really horribly wrong for a lot of companies, depending on different factories. So I'll take a typical example. You're working with a factory that produces Dunlop tires, for example, and they mass produce for 2 or 3 big clients, and they are open to doing business with smaller partners. But their main focus is always the big order volume, and yours seems to just go through the line. And we see that's where a lot of the issues come with quality control. So it's really important that we ensure that your products are equally checked for this, because this is where really a lot of things slip through the net. Customized inspection. So when it gets to our warehouse in China, I have clients that will currently offer an inspection, customized inspection, a pre-inspection. Someone's going to tell me exactly what they're looking for. Someone who's selling cables, someone is selling tech and electronic. I need to ensure if it's power banks, if it's anything of value. My team needs to ensure that everything is good before it's sent out. And yeah, it was great. We collected goods as well. Yeah, that's really good as well. We actually collected ourselves literally with the NextSmartShip van. Yeah, that's exactly what we do. So I think these are just some of the things we believe we offer extraordinary value in. And supply chain, picking, packing, and dispatching. My colleague Fausto showed from our warehouse in Shenzhen, and obviously with all our other locations in North America, on the East Coast, the West Coast, Canada, Europe as well. We're really able to offer a supply chain solution from the supplier to the last mile to your clients. Case studies. What clients have you worked with? Yeah, really big ones. I have clients that do 2,000 orders a day. Also have clients that do 10 orders a day. I have clients that do no orders a day. But the ones we've really made a difference with are companies that we've helped sourcing. This has really been a game changer for us. We had a particular client that joined us selling educational toys. He took a massive leap in the beginning of COVID. And through that, we would just really be able to help him source the educational products cheaper. We were able to offer him more packaging options and solutions. And as a result, within a year, he went from doing, I believe, 300 or 400 orders to they're currently doing 5,000 to 6,000 orders, shipping directly from China and from the USA for the majority of these clients there. We've increased operational efficiency. We've helped companies that are using local partners, and as you know, when they order in bulk, they ship containers. They have to order 2 or 3 months of inventory. Because I've got on a call and said, look, this is what we do, this is what we offer, and this is how I can help you increase the operational efficiency of sourcing the product, getting it to our warehouse, and getting it to your client in the same time, a third of the price. This has really helped my clients. It's something I'm particularly good at. Is really helping my clients scale up. And inventory management. Foster talked about that. This is one thing we really enjoy pitching to European clients because a lot of their money is tied up in inventory. They can't do anything. I have a client we recently signed that selling phone cases, we moved this production to China. We're shipping locally, and as a result, I've saved him 8,000 euros in a month, and that's 8,000 euros more in his marketing budget that he didn't have, that he was really concerned about, just because we could really increase the operational efficiency and the inventory management as well. Yeah, so I guess it finally ends with me and us in terms of the whole solution: sourcing, picking, packing, shipping, and the logistics. As well as the logistics, we also do freight forwarding. This is something a lot of fulfillment companies do not do. We have specific clients that move big data packages or big equipment to North America, to Australia, to Canada, and to Europe. This is something we do as well. And this is just something we're really good at. NextSmartShip has grown considerably. As you can see, we were shipping 1 million a year. We're shipping 1 million a month, purely because of our efficiency and believing in the value we offer. And therefore, it puts us in a great position to offer a one-stop shop solution. Any questions?
So you just told about the sourcing website 1688. So I believe because I'm in the Netherlands, I can't order on the website. So you have to be Chinese or live in China. So do you have like an agent to source it from the websites to NextSmartShip?
Yeah, we do that. We do that. That's a good one. That's a good point. 1688, you can't do it.
Yeah.
My Chinese is not that good yet. I need the help of the colleagues.
Yeah.
But this is, in this instance, somewhere where our sourcing team, for sourcing, we actually have a team on the ground, and they use it in a 24-hour period. And have got me 5 different calls, which is impressive. But this is one of the things we can do. We can communicate in Chinese on who we are.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually have 2 agents in the team that are in charge of sourcing. So generally speaking, you would give us like a target price, so what you're expecting to pay. You supply with us, for instance, the links to the current suppliers that you may have already, and then we look into the market to just like reduce the costs. We provide you with a quote, and then generally we charge like a 5% fee for the sourcing part, but overall your cost of your products still go down basically.
Also, like, this is a question that comes up often. This always also depends on the MOQs. So as you know, in China, the lower the MOQs, it's just a standard product. The more the MOQs, and that's purely because of the manpower and labor that's needed to do it. That's why they ask for higher MOQs, and that's why it's a little bit more pricey, just purely because of the time and the technology that's needed. But it is possible.
So I want to know, like, before I saw one slide, it showed all like a manufacturer's location in China. How do you find this information?
How do I find this information?
Yeah.
Through my wonderful team.
Okay.
That's the question. Through my wonderful team
So
in China.
it's like your Chinese colleague, yeah.
My Chinese colleagues, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the question.
For a company that does the opposite. I want products that are made in Europe or the US to sell in China. Or do you guys do the reverse?
Yeah, of course.
It's like picked up from the US, stored in
in China. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because there's obviously, that's also the presentation.
And almost like a trusted shop, we do the same thing.
Yeah.
Looking for to gain more knowledge.
Interesting. Yeah, of course, interesting. I have a client, a Romanian client, that is going to sell books in China, the Chinese market, and in Japan. So yes,
Social media or Chinese. The things you can't do.
Yeah, absolutely. And China in itself is a huge market. China in itself is a huge market. So when I got on the call with a Romanian client, I was just like blown away. He said, "No, you have no idea how big the market itself there is." So absolutely.
consider about our sourcing services in China. We do have our sourcing team, and at the same time, we not just the sourcing from the online web shop like the 1688. We also do the sourcing regarding our factory supplier direct connection. Because we did these services for many years, which means we have a strong data on our hands, can reach to the direct factory immediately. And also we have different tiers of our factories services and their product level, so that we already help your guys to select the different tiers of suppliers already, which means it will be much easier for your side to choose us to help you sourcing. Thank you. Any more questions?
I think we covered it.
Okay, so it has been so long to see it. I think everyone is tired, so we can active a little bit. Everyone follow me. Raise your left hand if you are more confident about sourcing and shipping. And raise your right hand if you are more confident about marketing. And give your neighbor a high five. Who likes next year? Okay, so yeah, so if you have further questions, we can always keep in touch. We have a LinkedIn group for everyone participating in our activities, and also for the future editions that we are growing bigger and bigger in this sector for everyone located in UK, in EU. And yeah, for the later we have food and snacks and Oreo drunken on site. So feel free to enjoy some snacks. And we will have our speakers for their office hour.
Yeah, so perhaps we're just going to be, Faust, myself, and Anthony are just going to be here separately. So obviously, whatever spoke to you the most, or where you need a little bit more information, yeah, you can join us. We'll walk in a little corner, pick our brains a little bit, or perhaps I know I personally don't like asking questions, and then we'll be able to address those things. So please have some coffee and drinks as well. For anyone who's looking for the toilet like me, it's straight and then left. But thank you all very much. Yeah.